If you hear these words, know this: it is not by chance. It is a call, a resonance that echoes in your very soul. A moment you have awaited. You feel it, do you not? A subtle yet insistent premonition, a barely perceptible pulsation beneath the surface of the ordinary, everyday world. A world that seems immutable, logical to us, but which is, in reality, woven from the finest, most elusive web of deception, of illusions that enshroud our perception. Before we step into the sanctuary, before we touch what is hidden from sight, you must make your choice. Your like is not merely a fleeting sign of approval. It is a declaration of your intent. Your first, quiet, yet firm yes to the truth that lies beyond the visible. And your subscription is an enlistment among those who are not afraid to search, who are ready to peer into the abyss without turning away, who strive for more. It is your first step across the invisible threshold to where the familiar outlines of reality begin to gently blur, yielding to something entirely new. The truth that they so diligently hide behind the hazy screen of endless news streams is, in fact, frighteningly simple and simultaneously terrifying. Forget conspiracy theories. What lies before you is a genuine conspiracy, aimed directly at your mind. We are deliberately pushed towards false dilemmas, forced to choose between illusory sides of the same coin, while the real, grand game unfolds in the very corners of our world we seldom glance towards. They want us to believe unequivocally in the randomness of events, in the idea that chaos is the natural, inevitable order of things. But this is the deepest delusion. Everything that happens is merely a meticulously directed spectacle, whose sole purpose is to plunge you into the abyss of eternal fear and all-consuming confusion. However, through the veil of time, other, far more ancient voices can be heard. Voices of those who saw the hidden, who grasped what remains inaccessible to the gaze of most. Among them is Edgar Cayce, the prophet of Virginia, a man whose astonishing prophecies, spoken in a deep trance, astound with their incredible accuracy. He spoke of a new foundation for the earth, of its axis shifting, of monumental physical transformations that, according to him, were destined to occur. This was not just a metaphor, but a direct indication of coming events that would alter the very fabric of our world. A lost quatrain from the 11th century, verse 93, unearthed from the ashes of a forgotten Alexandrian library, hinted at a great upheaval when the poles embrace in fire. This resonates with ancient Indian texts describing the churning of the Kali Yuga, when cosmic order is disrupted, only to be restored in a new form. The hermit monk Kenshin, whose scrolls were found in a burnt monastery on Mount Kurama, spoke of a great cleansing, when lands would be reshaped and seas would alter their courses. These prophecies do not exist in a vacuum. They echo the calculations of the ancient Maya, who foresaw cycles of cataclysm and renewal. They align with the revelations of the Gnostics, who knew our material world to be a prison crafted by lesser powers, with the true God dwelling beyond this illusion. All these ancient teachings, though expressed in different words, speak of the same thing. They perceive fractal patterns unfolding within the intricate web of geopolitical events, foretell an impending collapse of quantum probabilities that will echo through our collective consciousness, and sense solar cycles, like a conductor, synchronizing with the pulse of the noosphere, driving forward an unstoppable process of transformation. And this vast, all-encompassing restructuring is at hand, knocking upon your door. Remember that inexplicable anxiety that washes over you at 3 a.m, when the entire world holds its breath in silent anticipation, and your thoughts, like a flock of startled birds, flutter wildly in your mind. Or that strange feeling of alienation that grips you as you gaze into the faces of strangers on the street, sensing they look back with empty, lifeless eyes, like puppets whose will has been lost in someone else's unknown play. This isn't mere melancholy or despair. It's your soul, suffocating within the walls of this artificial reality, this matrix. It's your subconscious, intuitively sensing the approach of something colossal, something that will inevitably awaken every single one of us. Imagine living in a house whose walls begin to crack, whose foundation slowly settles, and you feel the very ground beneath your feet becoming unstable, treacherous. You see these omens all around you: rapid economic crises, profound social upheavals, devastating natural cataclysms. You hear their voices, voices that speak on the edge of fear and complete uncertainty. And then, amidst this chaos, the question consumes you. What is happening? Why does the world seem to be losing its last vestiges of reason? But what if all these terrible monsters, wars, devastating crises, all-consuming pandemics, are in reality just pale shadows cast upon the walls of some unknown cave? And what if the true tyrant, the one holding you captive, isn't somewhere outside, but is looking at you directly from your own reflection in the mirror? What if the coveted key to liberation lies not without, but deep within yourself? The universe does not punish humanity. No, it merely methodically burns away the poison, accumulated over centuries within our essence, the poison of fear, of paralyzing ignorance, and of hollow materialism that has permeated our existence throughout the ages. It is akin to a complex, yet vital cosmic surgery, painful, assuredly, but absolutely necessary for healing. Your fragile crowns of glass, your boastful illusions of your own unquestionable importance, your metallic veins, soullessly piercing a lifeless system, all of this is destined to be dismantled. Only then, upon the ashes of the old, can something genuine, something truly valuable emerge. The ancient prophets saw not a single savior who would one day come and set you free. They saw an entire army of awakened souls. They saw you. You are not merely a fragment of an ancient prophecy. You are its living embodiment. Each of you who hears these words, who feels this inner resonance, carries within you a spark of the divine, a spark of creation. This is not an end, not a sorrowful conclusion. This is the great inversion. This is the very moment when the age-old illusion crumbles to dust, and the true I is reborn, free and strong. This is the time when Earth, like a serpent, sheds its old, worn skin to reveal its eternal, primal essence. And this shift of the axis is far more than a mere geological event. It is not simply an awakening, but the awakening of planetary consciousness, a signal calling us to no longer remain asleep. And now that your eyes are finally open, now that you clearly see the cracks piercing the once monolithic wall, now that you feel that very tremor of the earth beneath your feet, inaction becomes unthinkable. Every single one of your likes is a sudden, dazzling flash of light, instantly spreading throughout the entire network, serving as a beacon for those seeking truth. Your act of sharing is a precious seed, carefully planted in the barren desert of dormant minds, holding the hope of a future awakening. Your subscription is a silent, yet profound, pledge. If you feel ready for more, if you truly aspire to become an integral part of this emerging new reality, our inner circle will become your steadfast operational base, and your support through super thanks is vital energy, fueling the collective flame of our aspiration in this decisive battle against the encroaching darkness. This is the true fuel for our mission, for this first fateful act of creation. Until our next meeting, maintain clarity of thought, stay connected, and never, ever stop asking questions. Because behind every question, no matter how ordinary, lies a spark of genuine truth.